Hi and welcome to the first eurorack module over video from me, DivKid. Today we're going to look at, and sorry because I'll probably say this all wrong, the Touellskouarn, which is the company, and the Strakal Brulu fuzz, which is this red module. Here's all the official information. We've got input at the bottom and output at the top, which seems a bit strange, and big fuzz knob right in the middle, and that's it. It's basically a germanium fuzz pedal behind a red plastic panel. There was only 10 of these made, but there is a new version with input attenuation and output gain, as well as CV input. There's a link to this new module in the description. This early version is really sort of super DIY looking, which I like. Here's a couple of pictures of the back of it. First things first, problems with the unit: it can't take modular levels. Guess that comes from being an adapted guitar pedal circuit. So I've had to attenuate it heavily on the way into the module, which I'm currently using a Maleko attenuator for. But then the output gain is way too low for modular as well. But since mentioning this on Muffwiggler, Gail from Touellskouarn has sent me a circuit that I've added to the back, which amplifies the signal back up to euro levels. So all I need now is a bit of attenuation on the way in. So let's see how it responds to some signals. Taking a sine wave from the Tip-Top Audio Z3000 and then going into an attenuator, turning that all the way down, and as we lift the attenuation, you can hear that it starts to clip straight away with barely any signal on the way in. But there's some sort of fuzzy wave shaping going in straight away, and as we turn up the input gain and the fuzz knob, that affects even further. Trying the same again with a triangle wave, it reacts in a really similar way. Same again with a saw wave, which is way more buzzy to start with, but that's the harmonics in the saw wave. As we increase the fuzz and the gain, you get an almost sort of pulse width modulation sound. Finally taking the square wave output, we've got no effect. But you can see on the oscilloscope down in the corner that everything that's going in is being wave shaped. We're not getting sines, triangles, saws or squares coming back out, even with barely any gain and the fuzz knob at zero. Which to me makes it a great module for adding some colour and tonal shaping and a good bit of variety. If you want clean sines and triangles, just don't put it through the module. So let's hear a mix of signals coming from the Livewire AFG. I'm taking a mix of the sub out, the saw wave and the animated pulse. The sub set to a square wave, and I'm going to mix these into an stg.mix. And then I'm going to go into the attenuator before the fuzz. Finally, just get a quick adjustment to get a relatively similar level from each waveform. And you can hear that the module really drives the sound as the gain increases and the knob gets turned up. I've also got the fuzz going into a Livewire Frequensteiner, which is fully open at the minute. Having fuzz pre-filter just gives the filter so much crunch and grit to go at. It gives simple filter sweeps a really crunchy resonance as it bites into the signal. So I'm going to set a simple little sequence going. I've also got from the MIDI to CV module, which is sending the sequence into the oscillator, is the gate from that note as well, just going into an envelope. That's on this cable, and then putting that envelope into the filter and increasing the CV amount on that filter. We've got some variation. Let's just go with a slightly longer envelope. Turn the fuzz down, it sort of decreases the volume a bit, but it loses a lot of character. It's really adding a lot, I feel, between the oscillator and filter. So if we move on to looking at some more complex waveforms on the way in. So taking the scales from the AFG, we're going to use the Synthesis Tech E350 Morph in Terrarium for some wavetables. I'm going to come straight out of the XY output into the attenuator, as we've got to drop that input level as I said. And as we turn the attenuator up, you can hear the wavetables going into the fuzz, and it's the same sequence as before. We'll flick through a few different waveforms and you can hear the drive that the module's adding. And it pulls out harmonics more on some waves than others. Again, turning up the fuzz adds a lot of sort of fizz and bite to the waveforms. So we'll look at some waveforms from mutable instrument braids. Taking in the 1 volt per octave to the braids. And then out of the braids into the attenuator before going into the fuzz. And we'll go with a vowel sound. Got the sequence running and the vowel wave, turning up the fuzz, as with the other analog waveforms, excites and really drives the output from braids. So we're still going through the frequency diner as before, and the fuzz, just like before, gives the filter loads to go at. The braid's output's obviously great, the filter's a great filter, but it just adds that extra bit of fuzz and fizz and extra bite and excitement that gives the filter much more sort of character beforehand to cut into with the cutter. Taking an FM wave from braids, we can sort of add more of a searing, fuzzy fizz to the sound. And moving on to a new sequence, let's play around with some of the other braids modes. So settling on the wavetable mode in braids, and again turning up the attenuator, it's going to clip the gain on the way in. And then also playing with the input level and the fuzz, we can really dial in the amount of fuzz that we want. This in sort of context of a patch, we'll take an envelope which is going to go up to the filter, and with the fuzz it's really adding, I keep saying it, but it's adding so much harmonic content which the filter gets to bite into. So the final thing I want to look at is setting up a patch where we've got a VCA before the fuzz to create a more dynamic effect. So using the Tip Top Audio Z3000, I'm going to take the 1 volt per octave into the oscillator, and this is coming from my MIDI to CV interface. And then I'm also going to take the gate out of that interface into an envelope, which is a duct for quad ADSR. And then I'm going to come out of the oscillator into the VCA first, and I'm going to use a triangle wave because we should hear the fuzz a little bit more with less harmonics on that waveform. And we're going to go, like I said, triangle wave into the VCA, and then from the VCA into the attenuator, so we can still set that level before the fuzz. So what that's going to give us is an opening and closing of the amplification according to the envelope settings, which will give a much more dynamic fuzz effect. It should be more pronounced when the signal's higher, and when the signal's decayed, the fuzz and the amount of harmonic content should be less, should be a much cleaner signal. Changing the fuzz amount and the initial volume pre-fuzz with the attenuator, you can dial in a more dynamic fuzz effect and sort of find the sweet spot. And it also seems that my modular for the first time is having a bit of a tuning problem. Hopefully you like what you've seen, and don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube page for some more videos coming soon. Cheers! Also, if there's anything you'd like to see in any upcoming videos, leave a comment, message me, Twitter @DivKid. Let me know, I'll see what I can do.